This is recording. So, what's up, guys? It's Sudhir here. And when you go shopping, when you go look for, I don't know, maybe you look for clothes, and you often cross shop a lot. You look for different competitors, different brands. Maybe there's a particular brand which is which gives you a lot of value and a lot of quality, but is also not very expensive. So this video is going to be all about that. What does my book compare to? What else do you think you can buy instead of my book? Now, well, I'm not going to suggest that you buy another book. Well, it's not my job. That's not, I can't dictate that to you. But I can tell you what my book compares to and what other genres, what other authors are there like, which you might already know, you might already have read before. So this is going to be all about that. So number one, my book is very, very similar to the style of narration set by Virginia Woolf. This is the kind of book that was really pivotal in modernist history. I think it was modernist, or maybe it was postmodernist. But in the modern era, let's say 20th century, there were really very few authors which spoke about the effects of the war and how people perceived new technology coming up and many, many different themes. But the particular style of writing that I'm referring to is a first person perspective, stream of consciousness type style of writing, which was it used to be there, but Virginia Woolf popularized it. Then Sylvia Plath, James Joyce, different authors made it grow. Then the next thing, or rather the formatting, I should address the formatting because a lot of you might have read the sample on Kindle, or you might have already read, and you're sort of wondering why the formatting is like what it is. And I think probably the biggest question that I've gotten is why are there no quotes? Why are there no clear dialogue tags? And well, honestly, uh, there was this book called The Colony by Audrey Maggi. It was longlisted for the Booker Prize in 2022 and also shortlisted for the Orwellian, I think it was George Orwell Prize for Political Fiction. And in that, there were no dialogue tags and there were no quotes as well. So it was really all about making the reader feel a bit confused, like who's talking? Is it one person? Is it another person? Who's the dialogue between? And also, how do I differentiate between the thoughts of that person and also the dialogues? So this was the sort of thing that the effect that I had really had in mind when I wanted to share my book. And it can really make you feel like this book is not just about one person, but it's also a whole melting pot of so many different people and so many different views of points. And at the end of it, when you read, you feel like you have a full grip of the story. That's the sort of idea I had, and that's the sort of effect that I was aiming at. I did make it a little easier because everything that is not my protagonist's dialogue and everything that is not my protagonist's thought is all italics. All of those italics that you see, all of those phrases, those sentences, those paragraphs, those entire chapters which are just italics, those are people, not the, what do you say, not the protagonist, Sloan. It's not Sloan. It's anyone else, everybody else. Okay, so there's that. And also, there's this different thing which I tried. I haven't read a book which has done this. I'm not sure if there's any. I haven't come across any book like this. So if you read a book which does this, let me know. So I alternated chapters. One chapter is with Sloane and the narration of Sloane, the narration of Sloane's experiences, the narration of what Sloane is doing, and that's one chapter. The next chapter is often what you could say is a reality, what's actually happening. So the italics and what the reality is actually happening, that stuff is very factual. It's not biased, it's straight to the point. You just get everything that you need to know without the complications and the thoughts adultering what really is happening. So it's just that. And yeah, so there was that thing, then there was the italics, then there was the alternating, and also there was that um, final part where both the reality and Sloane's reality merge at the end of the chat and at the end of the book. So that was the sort of effect I was also trying to achieve. Then, actually, you know what? I have seen this style not in a book but in a movie, in different movies actually. Most of Christopher Nolan's movies, if you look at Dunkirk or Inception, they have that alternating past, alternating realities, different realities, and then at the end of the movie, it sort of merges. So, yeah, it was also around that time where I was really into Christopher Nolan's movies. I was watching a lot of them, reading a lot of them, and yeah, that was also one inspiration for me. Also, I should say that for me, writing is not just about learning and or rather the inspiration that I got to write this book was not really just from books. A lot of the inspiration I had was from the music industry, the movie industry, and especially Charlie Puth's album in 2022, where he really opened himself up and made himself really vulnerable in all of his songs. It was just about him. So a lot of instances in my book are also instances that I've experienced in my real life, and that was the sort of vulnerability that I think comes with a lot of maturity and also comes with a lot of authenticity, because dreaming up situations and dreaming up the whole creative process does end up making certain narratives which are really compelling, really very well put together. But there's just something about experiences that are fictionalized. They are still technically real, but fictionalized. There's something about them. There's just some authenticity that you can't really get, when you really create something out of from scratch. So that again was sort of the inspiration I had, and it was really from the music industry, the film industry, just so many different industries. And yeah, that was the sort of. So I hope this clears up a lot of doubts that you probably had about where this book came from. What are the other books that are similar and you may have read, and maybe you've stalled reading my book because you weren't quite sure of exactly what genre it was, what you should expect from it. So that's the sort of thing that I wanted to share in this video. And let me just quickly summarize it up for you in case you just came back. If you just switched over to this part of the video to get the whole gist. My book, Blinded by My Dreams, is very similar to Virginia Woolf. Technically, it's very similar to books from the modernist era, early 20th century, right around the time when the First World War was happening and before the Second World War. There's a lot of mention of mental health. So I guess John Green's Turtles All the Way Down, or something like that, is also another example which you may have read before, but again, that's something that my book is also talking a lot about. My narrative style is not really, at least I haven't come across a book which portrays exactly what my narrating style is, and I think that's mainly an inspiration from the movie industry. So it's going to be probably very easy to adapt this book into a movie or a script or a screenplay, a play, anything like that. So that was sort of what I had. And also, there's a lot of focus on authenticity and being as real as possible. So, you get the full scoop of the story. You really enjoy, you really are invested in it really deeply. And also, I think for me, the greatest book has always been the book that I can put down, like close it, put it away, put it on my desk, put it on the bed, anyway, and again come back to it and still feel like you've not missed a story. Like, you can put your book down, read, contemplate it, think about it, and all of that. Like, I've been reading George Orwell recently, and that's the sort of book which, it's small, it's not big, it's about 297 pages, but you take a month to read it because that's the sort of book you can't just finish in one sitting. You need to read it again, and you're not reading again because you lost the story or something. You're reading again because you really want to appreciate it. Maybe you're in a different frame of mind, and that's the sort of thing that my book really tries to do. And I hope you enjoy it. I hope you like it. I hope you sort of feel the same way as I did when I wrote the book, which was I was really joyed. I really enjoyed writing that book, and I really loved every minute of it. It didn't feel like a chore at all, and I hope you really like it. I hope you buy a book. For now, this is it. Thank you so much. Bye. For sure, this is one person who's not watching my video, and yeah.